Rosen's still on the roster? He's going to be Mike Glennon. That's what he's going to be.
Yeah, sadly. But you know what? I'm going to ask you.
What am I looking at?
Say it again. What is this?
What am I looking at, Tyler Langle? What am I seeing here?
Jay, we will get to the Packers in a second, you grumpy old man. Okay, Julius, do you feel they move on from Diggs because of the depth in this draft coming up? Because, I mean, we've talked about it off the show before, and on our many calls, the wide receivers are really deep in here. You can get first-round talent in the second round, in the later first. I mean, do you think they would do that, to cut cap with Diggs and move to go get a really young stud?
I could see why they would do it, but I don't think they will because I think Diggs is one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league. He's really good.
His route running's stupid good. Like it's
he
ridiculous.
Pretty much single-handedly beat the Lions. Just off the way he could stretch the field. He's just
the 60-yarder in like the 2-minute mark killed it. Whole comeback with the Lions
on
had.
His deep routes, he gets there so quick. And if one of your safeties make one mistake, he's open and he's going to score. And that kind of weapon you just don't, get rid of unless you have a stone cold plan. And I think the Vikings are going to hold on to Diggs. I think he's a commodity, and I don't see them moving on from.
Not the talent wise, just more of the cap wise, getting the same, what JB said, the same field stretching ability to come in day one and do it. And
yep.
I mean, wide receivers are deep this year, so
also
it could
depends how this season goes, though. Like if the Vikings make the playoffs and make a push.
Are you guys familiar with some of the prospects this year in the draft already?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so you know who I think would be a really good fit for the Vikings if they did cut Diggs is Laviska Shenault.
Oh yeah, I know that kid.
He stretches the field so damn quick. It's ridiculous. He looks like he's going to be a power receiver, and before you know it, JB, he's across the field with 4.3 speed, and DBs aren't even touching him.
Again,
it's just an example.
It's listen. I think they might have to because I think they're going to have to rebuild the secondary. So you're going to have to clean up that cap space to fix bigger problems than your wide receiver spot.
Now, do you think they move on from Rudolph with Irv Smith showing that he can take it?
I think that was their plan when they drafted Irv Smith, to be honest.
Okay. All right. I just didn't know if it was going to be a double tight end situation, but now money plays into it. That's
and that's I mean, Rudolph is one of those guys I really hate to lose, but in all honesty, you're not using him as it is. So if you're not going to use him, then
trade him for draft picks at least.
Yeah, get rid of the cap. Open up some cap space, and you probably get some decent picks for him too because he's still talented. He's got the talent. For whatever reason, they're just not. Can't figure out what to do with him.
I heard Patriots were trying to go after him in the offseason pretty bad.
Yep, they wanted him because, with Gronk going. And I honestly, and as much as I despise with all my being what they do in New England,
yeah,
he would be a great fit in that system. He'd probably shine there. Because, Belichick, he can take any tight end and make him something, and
he's like a mix between, and I'm not saying he's Gronk, but he has kind of Gronk's catching ability. Because you know how many times I've gotten pissed off because, God, like I've watched him go up in triple coverage with 3 DBs of the Packers, and bam, he comes down with it one-handed. I'm like, where the hell did Rudolph just pull that off from?
The touchdown in the Lions game last year. It was
perfect. Yeah.
Just throw it up because he can elevate and he's got really good hands. The Vikings just don't really know how to use him now that Irv is there.
Well, you know what? We're gonna wait till the draft on that. JB, JB, what is your prediction for the Vikings? You said 10-6. I didn't know if you still want to stick with it.
Yeah, I think I can see that. I definitely see a 10-6. We've got the last 3 games within the division are all home games. I think we can win 2 of those. Denver is beatable, obviously, which is tough to watch because when their head coach is from your hometown, you kind of root for the guy, but not that day. The Chargers, as long as your kicker doesn't start shanking stuff, you can beat them. And
another light shot at Austin.
So, Austin's not even here. So,
I'm sure he's listening.
Maybe you can take one of those 3 tough ones on the road. So I can see 4-4 for the back end and a 10-6 record from the Vikings.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see them coming up for the wild card. But that week 16 game between Green Bay and Minnesota is going to have a division title, to me, chance on the line. I feel like Packers might drop a couple games and y'all will be right there, and it'll be like a game and a half difference to where if y'all lose, it'll put out a reach. If you win, then week 17, whoever wins, that would split it.
That game scares me because we had a chance to beat the Packers before they figured out that they actually have a running backs that they can use. The Packers were still kind of one-dimensional, and we had a chance to beat them. We didn't. The Packers are emerging, and they're evolving, and that's scary. The only good thing about that game is it's in Minnesota. That's the one of the 3.
You've never won at US Bank Stadium.
Yeah, out of the 3 home games, I think the Vikes go 2-1, and I think the Packers beat us.
Really?
Yeah, I think the one we lose at home in the division is the Packers.
All right, guys. Well, you know what? I got a couple Packers question for you. And that's saying it's not considered nothing. I just came up with a couple just to see what y'all thought on some stuff.
Sure.
So, as what you just said, they're ever evolving. Julius, how do you feel about the current Green Bay team?
Well, I feel like y'all are way stronger than y'all were in the beginning of the season. Y'all still had some wrinkles, but it seems that y'all seem to got that going. With Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams doing what they're doing in the backfield, it makes y'all offense really hard to beat. And y'all pass rush is everything y'all could have hoped for when y'all made those signings for the Smiths. So right now, everything's clicking. I don't really see anything going wrong other than – team might get hit by the injury bug. That's always worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I look at y'all's schedule, and y'all can definitely finish, 10, 11 games minimum. So I see the way the Packers are currently constructed and the way they're currently playing sets y'all up to contend for a Super Bowl, in my opinion. I hate to say
Don't say the S word right now. We went 6-9-1 last year. We're thinking about 1-0 each week. That's it.
Well, you say that now.
One game at a time, baby.
Y'all looking at 7-1 right now, and as long as y'all got Aaron Rodgers, the rest of the NFL world is gonna it's pretty much Super Bowl or bust. So
that's my next question on that. So, no, keep going. I'm sorry. I was just saying. As long as y'all got Aaron Rodgers on y'all team, y'all can win. And y'all got the system. I really like the system Matt LaFleur has going with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams. As long as y'all got that going and y'all can stay away from injuries, I can see y'all win the division. I already predicted that. So, speaking of Aaron Rodgers and the injuries, so now. I mean, it feels like Rodgers has the offensive pressure off of him. Like, that's the one thing McCarthy did with his system, and Ted Thompson did as a GM. It killed me to watch Aaron Rodgers have that pressure on him week in and week out to carry not the offense, but the defense because it was that bad. Now, with LaFleur and Gutekunst and the offensive scheme being installed properly, I mean – is he as dangerous as ever because there's no pressure, and now they get Devontae Adams back? It looks like it's a good chance this week against LA.
Definitely. It's all pretty scary, bro. Like, y'all healthy, and like you said, Aaron Rodgers y'all got him in the perfect position for his skill set and the pressure. It's complete opposite from the other three quarterbacks in the division. Kirk Cousins, Matthew Stafford, and Mitchell Trubisky all got serious pressure on their shoulders right now.
JB, how do you feel about it? Do you think the pressure is finally off Rodgers to kind of operate as a QB as he wants without having a whole team on his back?
Yeah, I mean, I think the loss to the Eagles was probably the best thing that could have happened to them because I
Punched
think
him in the mouth. It woke him up.
Yeah, I think it humbled Aaron just a little bit. I mean, humbling Aaron Rodgers is a big task, but the fact that he threw an interception when they really should have tried to run the ball in. Maybe he just kind of
yes.
Well, maybe he just kind of thought and said, maybe it's time to give these other guys a chance to take the game on their shoulders a little bit.
Yeah.
You got some talented running backs there, so now that they figured that out, that just makes the Packers all the scarier. He's been thrown to a receiving core that sounds more like a law firm than wide receivers.
Lazard,
Valdez Scantling.
Yeah, Valdez Scantling. Yeah.
Come to the firm of Kumaro and Valdez Scantling.
Excuse me, that's Whitewater Jesus to you?
Yeah, no, it would actually be Kumaro and Lazard because Lazard has been number one in the snaps amongst wide receivers over the past 2 weeks.
But it sounds like they should be settling personal injury cases and not
come to Lazard, Kumaro, and Scantling. We'll solve your case.
Yeah, exactly.
999 Yeah. Yeah, one of those. So that's the thing. I noticed Julius mentioned the defense earlier. Obviously the Packers fans, I know Jay and I are really happy to have the Smith brothers here because it's like waking up or going to bed last year and with Nick Perry and Clay Matthews and waking up with Zadarius and Preston Smith. Yeah. It's literally a breath of fresh air. I've never seen a GM bring in two pass rushers in one offseason and have them function in 15 sacks through week 8 together. So is there anybody that in your memory that has been able to do that? Like bring in as a GM to bring in that type of talent on one offseason on one side of the field and just put up the numbers or no?
I mean, other than trading to the Raiders to get Khalil Mack, which totally revamps the defense with one guy.
Yeah, that literally put the Bears defense over the hill.
Technically, Dave, that fits your narrative. Because technically, trading for Khalil Mack, if you go through history, Khalil Mack is a two-position player. The stat sheet says so. Because Khalil Mack is the only player in 100 years of NFL football to be named All-Pro at two positions in the same year. Therefore, Dave, he did sign or trade for two players in one offseason, and it did revamp their defense. They traded for a left end.
Good point, JB. Good point, Jay.
Yep, so, yeah, it's been done once before by the Bears. That's why Gutekunst had to do it.
So, how do you think the Packers defense can hold up, guys? And I understand there's been some leaks here and there with some big plays given up here and there. There's not a lot compared to the years past that we've had. So, do you think that it can hold up to the point where it can still try and get a 3-and-out late in the game and give the ball back to the offense, or do you think it kind of reverts back to the old ways?
I wouldn't want to see their depth tested. I'll say that if I were you guys.
It's already been trend. With Savage out and having a couple backup safeties in, that was bad. Waller had a field day in Oakland.
And don't feel bad because most teams don't have that kind of depth. But I would say,
here's the thing about the depth, JB. That's a little bit different than what most people are used to. For some reason or another, they actually have quality depth. They're just deciding not to use it properly or enough, and instead they want to keep these Clinton Dix effect players rotating into their damn lineup, particularly one guy who I nicknamed Billy Bob. And Billy Bob once in a while Billy Bob, once in a while, he can